Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in. It is Thursday, August the 13th. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And this is Winning Cures Everything. Of course, lots to discuss today. It is not nearly as drastic as it has been over the last few days, but hey, you know, I'm actually kind of glad about that. Obviously, you can see I am at the office today. That is why we are going early. Anybody that wants to hop in, you go ahead and hop in. I'll tell you how you can do that momentarily. Michael Fritch is already in on Twitch. He said, "What's up, fellas?" And the Brown Yeti on YouTube said, "What's up?" What is up, my guys? Hopefully everybody is doing well this afternoon. Go over to winningcureseverything.com. That is our website. You can find all of our picks, previews, podcasts, videos, and social media platforms over there. You can find everything that you need. If you are watching the show live, you are watching on Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. Make sure that you are subscribed or follow whichever one of those that you want to, whichever one pleases you the most and is easiest to get to on your TV, your computer, your mobile device, whatever. Go ahead and knock those things out. And if you missed the live show, obviously you can go over to whatever podcast app you want, really. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, whichever one pleases you, you can find us over there as well. You can leave a nice 5-star written review over on Apple Podcasts. We would definitely appreciate that. All of our college football content can be found over at sbrpicks.com/CFB. That is the easiest way to find us. We've got 5 different videos, or 6, or something, whatever it is. We got a bunch of videos over there, and pretty soon, I don't know if we're supposed to talk about this yet, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. We're going live on their channel a couple of times a week to discuss only college football, and we'll figure out what days and whatnot going forward. But make sure you are subscribed to SBR's YouTube channel, sportsbookreview.com, sbrpicks.com/CFB. You can find the links in the description or whatever. Go ahead and give the video a like. If you're on YouTube, do us that favor. Chris, how's everything going today?
It's good, man. Let's roll.
Yeah, let's definitely get into this. We're going to try and make it a short show. Obviously, I am working my rear end off. It's ridiculous. But it is what it is. It pays the bills. First topic of the day, we're going to dive into some college football. Jeff Brohm, Purdue's head coach, has laid out a spring plan for the Big Ten. Now, this is not saying that the Big Ten is going to follow this, but he is the only one that has released publicly any kind of an idea of what a season in the spring might look like. Now, he is basically conceding that we are not going to do anything from right now all the way through December. So his first order of business is we would have a 2-week training camp starting on January 16th when everybody comes back to campus, and it would end on January 29th. Then you have your typical 4-week training camp, which is what you typically have in the fall, but you would have that from Saturday, January 30th through Friday, February 26th. You would have 2 days off per week. That would be mandatory, a maximum of 2 practices and full pads per week. Then you have an 8-game season from February 27th through April the 17th. Then you have, he put in a plan for a 16 playoff with 5 Power 5 conference champs and a wild card. Or you would have the typical 4-team along with the Big Ten Championship, Rose Bowl, etc., whatever. Basically, the end of the season would be April 18th, and you would have 3 months off until July 18th. Now, this is where it gets a little hairy, all right? This runs into the fall 2021 season, and that's why it gets a little crazy. You would not start anything, no summer training camp, until July 19th. You would have basically everything off until July 18th. Then you start your summer workouts July 19th through August 27th. You have a 1-week off period until Labor Day, and then you begin your 4-week training camp on Saturday, September the 4th of 2021. A 10-game season would begin Saturday, October 2nd, running through Saturday, December 11th, and then you will have the Big Ten Championship game, whatever, running into a 16 playoff or the 14, whatever. Your bowl situations would be Saturday, January 1st through Saturday, January 15th of 2022. I love his idea of a 16 playoff. Any kind of expansion for the playoff, I'm obviously in favor of. But I love how well it was put together. It's incredibly creative. It is a beautiful document. Anybody that loves documents, I'm a big fan when you are incredibly neatly organized. But, good gracious, you were talking about them having pads every month of next year, like practicing in pads every month other than June, July, and August, maybe, but depending on when your camp starts, when your actual season starts, you could be in pads in August. So you would have 3 months off, and you're going to be hitting each other all of those different months. If we're talking about player safety here, I don't know how feasible this is. Chris, do you agree?
No, I'm not worried about that. I think these guys can take the padded practices. That doesn't concern me at all. That it just doesn't. We just don't have a history of. We get knee injuries, we get stuff like that. People just don't get a lot of concussions in practice.
Agree, and I'm not even worried about concussions. I just think that, man, this is a lot of wear and tear.
But these guys are young. They're fine. They're not old guys. It's practice. Most of that's practice. The two things that I'll take on this, okay? I'm going to be the wet blanket on all this crap, all right? If you were afraid to play now, you're going to be afraid to play in January because nothing in our life is going to be different between now and 4.5 months from now.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you think it's going to be, then you're naive, because I thought in February and March that by August, all this stuff would be gone away. Yeah. And I was naive and I was wrong. If you think 5 months went by and nothing changed, I don't know why you think in 4.5 months something's going to change. All right. If we have a vaccine by then, it's not going to be heavily distributed enough to where it's going to make a difference. All right. Yeah. So that is just, if you're afraid of the virus and that is why you're not playing because of safety, I believe it's because of fear of litigation, which is that's not going away either, by the way. It was unsafe to play in August and September and October. And so now the lawyer's going to say, well, now you magically thought it was safe to play in January and February? No, my client wants $20 million. Thank you very much. I'll take a third of that.
Here you go.
It's just ludicrous. Okay. So that's laughable. And I think we can play now. That's my opinion. I'm not a doctor. Played one when I was younger, and that's it. But I don't know what they think is going to be different. Now, it was pointed out to me by guys smarter than me that we should have testing then that you can basically spit on a swab and know. And so testing will be a lot faster. But if that's the only variable that changes, nothing else has changed, then you still can't play. Yeah. Just because we know if you have it quicker or not doesn't change the fact of what do we do if you get it, because not one team has a protocol in place if they catch a damn Rona.
No, they have it. Teams do have that in place. That
right now during practice time. Once the season starts, we don't have anything outside of isolate that person. So if it's Trevor Lawrence, what do you do? What do you do if it's your quarterback? What do you do if it's 3 of the 5 offensive linemen?
Like, well, for the most part,
what is the answer to that? Because the answer can't be, well, the show must go on, because now you put other players at risk, not from getting the coronavirus, but from broken ribs, ACLs, and head injuries, because you have inferior, talent out there that's not ready.
You're correct, but
so that's the January part. That's January part.
That's January. Yeah.
The other side of that coin is only playing, so to mitigate some to where you can't just play all in one calendar year, like you addressed, they'll back down next year to 10 games.
Which is not happening.
I think that's not going to happen at all, because we know all of these conferences are losing tons of money, okay? I believe they are closer. There's a better chance that they'll play 14 games next year, which I'm not saying they will. There's a better chance they'll add 2 games than they'll take away 2 games in 2021, simply for the fact of we got to make up money. We got to make up revenue.
Yeah.
And so we're going to kick the seat. We're going to start at the same time. Maybe instead of week 0, everybody's playing. That's now week 1. And we're going to finish 2 weeks later than we'd normally finish. And we're going to all add 2 games and add a bye week. So we expanded the season 3 weeks, and boom, bang, bing, we can start recouping some of the money we lost in 2020. I think that has a better shot than asking these teams that just lost a lot of money to all
lose money again.
They won't lose money if they played 10 games, but to not maximize their revenue stream.
Well, no, they'll lose money. Like they
won't lose money for 10 games.
Oh, 100%. They would have lost money this year on 10 games because it's not the same amount of inventory. And I understand where you're coming from.
You're not. You see. This is. They will make less money. That is not losing money. They will still finish in the black, Gary.
Yes. No. By losing money, I'm saying that there was.
When
money
I say losing money, they're in the red this year. They're spending millions of dollars and they're not bringing in any income. That's losing money. Okay.
Okay.
The idea of we used to make $100 billion and now we only made $30 billion is not losing money.
No, but the option was on the table to do 12 games, and then they chose to only do 10, and obviously because of certain.
That's because of the conference control. That had nothing to do with safety. It had all to do with they need control, and I agree with that 100%. By the way,
let's dive into these comments really quick. Michael said, "Where were all the plans and ideas for fall football? Spring football is a joke. How many years is this going to set these programs back? Oh, some, they may never recover. Like it's just this is how when you spend money the way that college football programs spend money, and they have to, because if they want to continue to get that money,
they got to keep up with the Joneses, baby.
Yeah. But not only that, but anything that you make over, like you can't just store it. You have to spend it so that your budget can continue. That's just the way that these government things work. If they want to remain a tax-exempt institution, then you have to do that. You cannot show that you are for profit. So you have to spend all of this money that you get in, which is why they are in such a mess right now. Because if there's no money coming in, that means that there's no money in the account. There's just nothing. So you're in a bad way when you don't have the television contracts that are coming in. The Brown Yeti said, the 5 champs and the SEC runner-up, I like it. Tanner Lee jumps in. He said, Jeff Brohm, that's my football coach. There you go.
Listen,
it's a beautiful
we talked about
document.
this yesterday. He's one of the innovators. He's one of the coaches with a brain. All right. There aren't a lot of those guys. He's one of them.
The Brown Yeti said the only thing that will change in January is public opinion.
You're right.
Yeah.
The election will be over.
Michael Fritz said, why don't they just tell the truth and say they aren't playing until there's a vaccine available? Matt said, but they're risking their lives for losing money. And then he said, how is the weather going to affect kids in the spring? At least in the fall, it starts to get hot. Or it starts hot but gets cooler. Spring, it can be hotter as you go into the season. That's one way to look at it. And my God.
If they're finishing the season in April, nowhere in the country is it hot in April.
Agreed. But if you're starting, say you start in January, I mean, you're in Purdue, you're in Michigan, you're in Wisconsin, whatever.
So yesterday we had, and I don't know where this came from, but somebody put a plan for 8 games, and they were just basically the Big Ten's got to play all indoors. And so, and there's enough indoor facilities that you can rent out that aren't being used around those areas.
Well, I guess if you did like a bubble type thing.
Well, you don't need to do a bubble. Just every week, everybody buses to, 2 teams got to bus to Indianapolis or fly to Indianapolis. 2 teams fly to Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's enough indoor facility stadiums that you could rent out. 2 teams fly to Dallas. I mean, you pop on a plane. This is Power 5 football, man.
Matt said
they're going to charter planes anyway.
Matt said more volatile weather early in the year, snow and storms.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean,
that's true, but that's not going to stop them because they're not going to play in them.
Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is. Damian said, screw the money. Life is more important than anything. Yes, money can buy stuff and pay bills and help people keep their jobs, but money can't buy you life back once you lose it. We're not talking about losing life here. Obviously, if there is a potential threat to life, then yes, obviously, they won't play in the spring or ever. But either way, the Brown Yeti said they practice all day in the summer, and it affects them and then you could play more at night. Okay, I guess.
Well, they're not talking about playing in the summertime, so it doesn't matter.
Michael said, I heard either yesterday or the day before Chris say 7-on-7. Why not do a handful of those to at least let these kids get some film? Hell,
I'm just wanting any kind of problem solving, any kind of trouble. Is anybody throwing any ideas at the wall to see if this shit stinks?
It doesn't appear to be. I mean, it really doesn't.
I don't know that that's a good idea or not, but it's an idea. We're going to, take away the people that are really mashing together, okay? And so everybody else is kind of hand fighting and open in space. And, the guys that are more at risk because of obesity and things of that nature, the big boys, are taken off the field anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Here are the facts as far as not being able to play in the spring. It is unlikely a vaccine will be widespread enough by January that it can be gobbled up by thousands of young, healthy college football players.
Yep.
Number 2,
they'll be the last ones to get it.
Yep. Number 2, it is unlikely the virus is going away by that point.
100%. It's not magic.
Number 3, it is hard to imagine the Big Ten country will be in a better position with the virus when it's cold out and flu season is thrown in than when it is warmer outside.
That's too much logic and reasoning for me. I can't handle it.
Yep. So, while Jeff Brohm made a really nice, organized, incredibly neat
Sounds
document.
good. Sounds good. Looks great on paper,
great.
man. Call me when you think, because at the end of the day, you and I both believe this is not a health and safety for the kids thing. This is a we don't want to get our asses sued thing, right?
Oh, 100%.
We're on the same page. Everybody might not believe that. Everybody might not be as skeptical as we are. I think that. I'll speak for me, not you. I think that those lawsuits aren't going away. Those lawsuits actually become a lot stronger if somebody gets sick. And like I said, the plaintiff attorney gets to stand their client out and say, these people knew it was dangerous. They didn't let him play in the fall because it was too dangerous. But all of a sudden, magically, the calendar changed and they thought it was now safe for him to put himself at risk.
Oh, yeah.
He'd like his check, please. Where can we just going to get bags of cash like they do the recruiting? Or y'all going to cut him a check? Or how's this work?
Michael jumps in. He said, I really just hope that at least the SEC gives it a try. I think that's all we're asking for. If it doesn't work, at least they tried. It won't be the SEC by themselves. If the SEC, which the ACC has a meeting this evening, and they are going to discuss it and whatnot, but it appears from everything that everybody has heard, they are moving forward. The Big 12 is moving forward. The SEC is moving forward, and several of these smaller ones.
So let me ask you this honest question. See, so we've dumped all over the Big 10, and that's fine. At what point, if these 3 conferences do this and they get a month into it and they are seeing very little problems whatsoever, are we at a point where the Big 10, are we so dug in because we in our country, we like to win arguments. We don't care about getting anything right. We just want to win, right? Even if we're wrong, we want to win. Are they going to dig their heels in? Are they going to say, hey, can we start a month late? Can we jump in? Because we've been working out. If I was those coaches and I was those athletic directors, that's what I would be asking is, okay, we've already lost this fight with the presidents. All right. So we're going to continue to work out. We're going to continue to practice. We're going to continue to stay in shape. If these guys try it down south and it works and it's fine, can we then play?
I don't think so. I think because they
Why do you think not?
Well, because they've already canceled, they've already done all that. They have shut down, for the most part, their training camps. So, and while they still have the 20 hours a week of practice or whatever, it's not the same thing. So at that point, you're risking even more injury, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but once you're 2 weeks in and you see it's good, they could give the okay to start training camps.
If you're 2 weeks in and you start training, well, then, I mean, what do? You cut it down to like a 6-game season and you just try and come up with something? I mean, I think that'd be all right. But
you could play everybody in your division then.
This is why everybody was so pissed off, right? Is you did not have to do this right now. Why did you
But here's the thing. Doing it
now?
right now is not – because here's the deal. The reason it takes 6 weeks of training camp is because you're going from ass on couch to ass on field, all right? But if you're working out and you're training 20 hours a week every week still, then you don't need 6 weeks of training camp to get in playing shape.
Do you really think that these kids are still going to be putting in the same amount of effort that they would have been? I don't
the ones
see it.
that think they can play on Sundays 100% will. The other ones probably will just because they're young and it's a competition. You get in that weight room with other folks. Dude, I knew I wasn't good at football. But when I got in that weight room and I saw these other dudes throwing up weight, I wanted to throw that shit up. I didn't have coordination, but I didn't have balance. But I had strength, and I wanted to compete because I could compete in there.
I understand where you're coming from, but I'm also of the mindset, like we've talked about on the show multiple days this week. Once you take away that carrot, once you take away the incentive,
yeah, but what you have to do is dangle the carrot back and say, guys, there's a chance, there's a hope.
Yeah, but you had that, and then you took it away by saying that the season was
canceled. Now you got to try to sell them again. This is part of it. It's the bed you made, man.
At some point in time,
you should quit.
I don't see the Big Ten coming out and saying, yeah, I know that we canceled, but like if everything goes well down there and we let the SEC be the guinea pigs, then maybe we can do it. I just don't see them doing that. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for them.
I would like to think that they're smart enough to say they're not so prideful or egotistical to where they'd say maybe we got this wrong. If those dumb rednecks down south can do it, we can do it, right?
It'd be nice. It would be nice.
And then they ramp up, they get going, and hell, they might not finish their season until the middle of January. Who cares?
It really doesn't matter at that point. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. They still get the season in.
And speaking of that, the College Football Playoff Committee is they are still having their discussions. They met today. They are getting ready. It doesn't matter that 4 of the 10 conferences have dropped out and multiple independents have dropped out. That doesn't matter to them. Like, they're still rolling forward. If these conferences are playing, we're going with what we got, and we're going to have a playoff. And, cheers to them. I mean, it's now they did it through Zoom call today. Now, why they can't do Zoom calls any other time,
that's what they need to be
ridiculous.
Doing. I swear to God, these assholes.
Yeah, we've been through that. Michael said it's 1,000% a CYA approach to this by the presidents, 0% about safety. Let's see. Michael said, "Win, not be right." That's the Dem slogan. Sorry to get political. No, it's all good.
That's not true. If you don't think the right is doing that, then you're part of the problem.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you. Everybody would rather win the argument than be right. Everybody would.
Brown Yeti said, "App State in the playoffs." Ben said, "That's actually America's slogan."
Yeah.
Damian said, "Question: with all the problems that are the college football is starting." Hold on. Let me try and gauge this. Question: with all the problems that college football is having to start their season, do y'all think the NFL is probably looking at what's happening and rethinking about starting their season? Absolutely not. Nope. NFL is rolling forward. Those are paid employees. The college football problem is litigation. That's their problem.
If they had a union and these players had representation, then we would not be in this mess. These guys would be playing if they wanted to play.
Yep, you are correct. Speaking of the NFL, let's go ahead and switch topics here. We spent a long time on that first one there. Good gracious, feel like I'm about to sneeze. George Kittle signed a massive contract, and then just a few minutes before the show today, Travis Kelce signed a massive contract. George Kittle's 5 years, $75 million. That is massive, and it is $30 million guaranteed at signing. Travis Kelce, 4 years, $57 million. Here's the age difference. All right, so this is Kelce's third contract. He's already made $33 million in the league. Kittle, his base salary was $2.6 million, and he is just finishing up his rookie deal. So, Kittle, 26 years old. Kelce is 30 years old. He will turn 31 in October this year. This is a lot of money for tight ends. I think we both agreed that the Kittle one makes sense, and the Kelce one seems like maybe a bit much.
The Kelce one's weird to me. I've been watching Andy Reid for a long, long time. And he's sometimes had good tight ends, and sometimes he's had okay tight ends. Sometimes he's had bad ones, and sometimes he's had great ones. And his offense doesn't really ever run through the tight end, ever. I find it strange that he pays an aging tight end when there are probably going to be some of these young speedster receivers, running backs that are going to need to get paid in the next couple of years, maybe some offensive line help. You don't really know what could come up in free agency and defense. Paying Kelce's a hell of a tight end, okay? Elite, he's great. At what point do tight ends fall off because he's no longer nearly fast enough to cover or to be as open as he is. He loses athleticism with age. He's not a blocking tight end where he can mitigate some of those problems. The next time he blocks somebody will be the first time he's blocked somebody.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Kelsey on the Kittle on the other hand, holy cow!
Yeah,
this guy is a freak. This guy's a stud. Getting him locked up for 5 years is the smartest thing you can do. This is the Kelsey deal 4 years ago. Okay.
Oh yeah.
This guy is a young, hot shot tight end. We want him here in his prime. We don't want anybody else having him.
Kittle in the Super Bowl had 4 receptions for 36 yards, no touchdowns. Kelsey had 6 receptions, 43 yards, and 1 touchdown.
With Deebo Samuel's probably missing a lot of time this year with a foot injury, Kittle's going to be the most important factor on that offense.
Oh yeah,
I think he's gonna have an unbelievable season.
Let's see. The Brown Yeti said, did Andy pay him or did KC pay him? And he's been there for a while. I think that he got his other contract when Andy Reid was there.
Yeah, he probably did. Yeah, Andy Reid's been there for a long time. I'm going to bet Andy drafted him.
Mark jumps in. He said 9 players quarantined at Notre Dame. 3 tested positive yesterday. That's interesting. And Michael said, where is KC getting all this money? Tight ends take a beating. Look at Gronk. They decline fast. Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Well, Gronk's saving grace was he was the best not only was he the best receiving tight end in the country, he was also the best blocking tight end in the league. And that's the reason he was able to stay on the field, maintain his ability to be there. And, we'll hit you when we get to the red zone. And you can just go up and be bigger than everybody else, but you're no longer any use in the middle of the field because his injuries and athleticism were just piling up. But that's okay. You mull people over, and we will dominate the run game.
Yep. Damian jumps in. Wait, so you mean to tell me that Little and Kelsey can get big contracts, but Everson Griffin only got $3 million from the Cowgirls? What the hell? Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are not doing anything. From now, I think they grossly overpaid Zeke, but my opinion on running backs.
Oh yeah,
and then I would not have given Cooper the money they gave Cooper, but they gave him a ton of money. At some point in time, they got to figure out: are we moving on from Dak? Or are we paying Dak? And if you're paying Dak, you got to be very careful with who else you pay. And if you're moving on with Dak, you got a rookie deal, you just start spreading that money around anywhere you want.
Yep. You are correct. You are 100% correct. Let's move into our next topic. I want to talk about the NBA playoffs right now.
Come on.
The NBA is...
The field is set, right? It doesn't matter what happens today. No seeding changes.
No, well, the play-in for... The seeding is set for... What is it? Set,
1 through 7 on both sides. We're just worried about the 8 seeds now, right?
1 through 8 on the East.
And the East is done. The other side, 1 through 7 is done. We're just worried about the play-in, right?
You got that right. And as we are recording right now, the Phoenix Suns are up by 11 on the Mavericks at the end of the first. And in the second quarter, the Grizzlies are up by 5 on the Bucks, who are playing without multiple starters today. Giannis, of course, suspended for headbutting Mo Wagner.
You think there's a chance they could get in round 1 without him?
Well, I mean, he's going to be back in round 1. He only got a 1-game suspension.
Was it only 1? I thought it was multiple games, and I thought if he misses 2 of those play-in games, man, that could not play in. I guess first round games.
First round games. No, it's done. And they
so it's just 1. That's fine.
Yeah, they wouldn't have any problem against the Nets anyway. I don't believe.
All right, so go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's all good. Here is how this works. Okay, so we've explained it a couple of different times. The 8 seed right now is the Portland Trail Blazers at 34-39.
They
the
look
9
so good.
Seed is the Grizzlies at 33-39. The Suns are 33-39 after starting out 7-0 in the bubble, and the Spurs are at 32-38 as we sit right now. The Spurs need everybody to lose, and they beat the Jazz. The Suns need to win, and
they're in.
And they need the Grizzlies to lose.
So if the Grizzlies win, they're in.
Yeah, if the Grizzlies win, they are either the 9 seed or the 8 seed, depending upon what the Trailblazers do.
So the Grizzlies win, they're in.
Well, they're in the play-in game.
That's what we're talking about.
Hold on.
God damn.
Hey, but this is where it gets more important is if the Grizzlies are the 9 seed, they have to beat Portland twice.
I understand that, but nobody can get to 7. So when I say if they win, they're in, we know what we're talking about.
Yes, okay, but that's where all this comes from. The Suns need the Grizzlies to lose. The Spurs need everybody to lose. And the Grizzlies, if they don't win, they just need everybody else to lose as well, right? So the Grizzlies hold the tiebreaker over the Spurs and the Suns right now.
How in the hell is that? It's got to be from the regular season, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Because since we've started this restart, they have just shat the bed.
They are 1-6 in the bubble. The Suns are 7-0 in the bubble.
I know, man. And outside of Dame and the Mavs, the Suns have been the most exciting team to watch.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you this. Damian Lillard has been doing a lot of this by himself because C.J. McCollum has been awful.
Not showed up at all.
But you know why, though? They are saying that he has got a fractured vertebrae in his back, and he's still playing. Like, that is insane to me.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, there's no way I'd be doing it.
These guys are so tough. I just don't. I hurt getting out of I'm so out of shape. I hurt getting out of bed, man. If I sleep wrong, I'm bad for 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
How the hell?
So the Blazers play the Nets.
Like the rest of us.
The Blazers play the Nets tonight. The Grizzlies would need the Trailblazers to lose to the Nets,
and they can still get that 8 seed.
And they can still get that 8 seed. So they would.
I don't know that it matters. We're not.
Oh no!
We're not winning the game.
Yeah, it's not going to matter.
We just trash.
Let's see. Michael said Blazers Lakers would be a fun series. Dame time. Yeah, 100%.
Holy cow! As much as I want the Grizz to do good and I want them to get in. I think that would be a much more fun matchup.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Mark jumps back in. He said Notre Dame started practice yesterday. They're getting ready for Duke. And to this point, they have had 4 players, I believe, if my math serves me correctly, according to this report, test positive now, which is kind of crazy considering that the entire campus only had 0.03% positive tests. So either way. Michael said Denver could have trouble with Utah. They better get their crap together.
I'll tell you this: first round matchups, I think that Denver-Utah matchup is going to be crazy fun.
Oh, I think it could be a lot.
And who is the Mavs lined up to play round 1? That's going to be awesome too.
The Mavs are the 7 seed, so they would play against the Clippers.
That's the other one.
Oh, Patrick Beverly guarding Luka
as well.
Yeah, give me some of that.
No,
give me some of that.
Those 2 matchups. I'm all in. I'll be watching every second of all those games.
Oh, yeah. Michael Fritz said Booker is a baller for Phoenix. Hey, I would love to see Phoenix go against the Trailblazers. Now, don't get me wrong. I want good things for the Grizzlies.
I think I'm good on what's happened to the Grizzlies. Let's get out of this thing with nobody else getting hurt. Let's get ready for next year, and let's move on.
I want their playoff debut to be when Jaren and Ja are both healthy.
When they started the thing off as bad as they did, I kind of thought, all right, let's wait till next year. Yeah. Give me some exciting basketball from these other guys.
Let's see. The streak has been extended, says Ben. 14 years since the Kings have made the playoffs. What was that? Vladdy Divac
they fell apart.
And Chris
Did
Webber
they win a game in this thing?
Yeah, they won.
They won today.
I mean, they won today. They beat the Lakers today.
Well, the Wiz won today also. They both played 2 teams that had nothing to play for and didn't play anybody. But that was the Wiz's only win, which the Wiz didn't belong in this thing anyway.
Brown Yeti said they're so tough, but all that crying makes them look like sissies. Michael said Houston and the Thunder, the West is stacked. Yeah, Houston and Oklahoma City is going to be fun.
I guess you've got a storyline there. Houston, if you like that style of ball, is fun to watch all the time, and if you don't, you're going to hate it. I don't know. Maybe it's good. Listen, we're in the playoffs. All of these are good matchups. None of these are bad matchups. Some are elite. Like my Celtics playing the 76ers, I'm not like crazy excited about it. I don't know why. Maybe now I'm very dismissive of the 76ers though. So if the Sixers win that thing, then I'm going to be pissed, and it's just going to make me eat a little crow.
It's going to be bad. All right, let's dive off of the NBA stuff because today we will figure out exactly what is going on, what the playoff situation will be for that 8 seed or for the 8-9 seeds in the West, and then that play-in is going to be this weekend, so that'll be a lot of fun. Let's move into some more NFL talk really quickly. Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. Rookie cornerback Kemah Siverand cut for sneaking an Instagram model into the team hotel. Now, one, this lets you know that the teams are taking this incredibly seriously, right? Did you hear how he tried to sneak her in?
Yep.
He put her into Seahawks gear and tried to pretend that she was another player that was coming in. And they still got caught. And you know they've got this on camera, right? Why in the world have they not released it? TMZ Sports needs to be releasing this camera footage because I want to see.
I'm sure they're working on a deal right now to see if they can get paid for the footage.
They've got to release this so that we can see exactly how they dressed her up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you are a rookie. And obviously Quentin Dunbar, he may be going to jail. So you had a shot to make this team. You had a shot to actually get in there and make a name for yourself.
Yeah, this is a team that needs a tight end.
And well, not a tight end, but a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the tight ends that got paid earlier.
Yeah. So Siverand, of course, gone. So that's 2 cornerbacks gone for him, and is what it is. But
we're a long way away from the Legion of Boom, aren't we?
Man, what are you doing?
That was like the greatest backfield in like defensive backs that we've ever seen, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
In one backfield, and now we are struggling up there with Pete.
Guys just dropping like flies. So Siverand played at Texas A&M and Oklahoma State. I wouldn't imagine that the girls are any hotter in Seattle, but maybe
I don't know that it's a hotness thing. I think it's a she's there thing.
You might be right, but
I mean, it gets lonely. It don't matter where you are in the world.
Yeah. Michael jumps in. He said, by the way, I think Houston destroys OKC, but the CP3 and Westbrook thing will be fun to watch. Yeah, 100%.
See, I never care about storylines when it comes to all this stuff because at the end of the day, all these guys are friends.
Oh, yeah.
They're all hanging out afterwards. There was a day and a time when these dudes really hated one another where storylines were amazing. Those days are so far gone.
Yes.
There's never a storyline that's going to get me into a series. Either I think the series is going to be great or I don't. And that's the way I care about the talent on the game. That I could care less about stories anymore now that I know all these guys are BFFs afterwards.
Yes, you're right. Michael said, this just shows you can't fix stupid. Come on, man. You couldn't wait a few days. And then Mark said, that's funny, dressing her up. Yeah. 100%.
Hey, man, we've all been lonely before.
Hey, and by the way,
things
you
that we
couldn't wait a few
regret
days?
strictly because of we're horny dudes. Well, most of us, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would imagine most males, for the most part, you
I
catch them in the right
can't
mood.
speak for all of y'all. I have done dumb things because I was a horny dude before.
Yeah, I mean, most of us do. I mean, hey, we have both.
Now, it's never cost me a job or a chance to make a team in the NFL.
Yeah, it's never cost
a place where if you can play and perform and be good, you change your life and the life of your entire family. No, I've never been that. Never been that horny. Okay.
Especially now, when Michael says you couldn't wait a few days, hey, you never know, man. This girl could be she could be in town for one night. I mean, you never know how these things work. But either way, it's still not a smart idea.
Not a smart idea. Not what you want when you're a rookie trying to make a team.
No, Mark said, I heard Coach O might be doing that. LOL, love it. Yeah. I mean, we'll see.
He's a single man about town.
You got that right. Yeah, he's been working out, too.
Hey, lock up the single mamas when he's on the recruiting trail.
You got that right.
That is a charming man.
You have got that right. All right, let's dive into the last topic of the day. We're jumping back into college football here. And, by the way, you want our college football content? Go over to sbrpicks.com/CFB. Knock that thing out. Sportsbookreview.com is where we will have all of our college football coverage going forward starting in next week. We're going to have a whole lot of time to discuss all the biggest topics and whatnot, and all of our picks previews and whatnot will be over there as far as the college football season goes. So, sbrpicks.com/CFB. Tennessee is banning on-campus tailgating, and they are significantly cutting capacity at their stadium, Neyland Stadium. This isn't a big surprise, but Chancellor Plowman broke the news on Thursday, said that, they're going to go forward. We're going forward with football in the SEC. But, it's what it is. I was a little surprised by having no tailgating on campus because you and I
these
talked
guys
about that
tailgate
before.
on the river anyway.
Well, that won't be happening this year because that is on campus right there. So,
No, that water's not.
Well, no, hey, the Vol Navy will be able to do whatever they want to do.
That's what I'm saying.
But they'll be social distance. But if you've ever been to Knoxville, like they have got tailgates set up
I understand. There'll just be a whole lot more people on the water.
Hey, maybe so.
This
Michael,
is how
by the way,
casinos used to work back in the day. It was against the law. You back that boat up about 80 feet.
and it's no longer against the law.
No longer against the law.
Let's see. They said we have questions about fans in Neyland Stadium and whether tailgating will be banned. We don't know what will happen with football yet. We're hopeful the team will get to play. We are planning on it right now. If they do, it will not be to a full stadium. There will likely be significantly reduced capacity. If we do play football, we won't have tailgating on campus. Football has no bearing on whether or not classes transition or move to online. So, they're still going to be doing their thing. And like you said, they will be on the lake with the Vol Navy pulling up to the stadium, but it is yet another reminder that the fall season is going to be unlike any other in recent memory. Michael said,
like I said, when I watched the PGA event this past weekend, I learned real quickly that you can keep players from facilities, but fans from facilities, but you can't keep them from the outer edges, man. There were thousands upon thousands of people lined up in San Francisco around that golf course, fence with a screen over it. Thousands of fans still lined up, screaming, cheering, rooting for their guys. And that is they're going to go right to the edge where they're allowed, and then they're going to be there.
Michael said the videos look great on SBR, guys. We appreciate that. He likes the top 10 stuff. Mark said that he heard that Jack, the AD at Notre Dame, might let students in for the games.
I saw that about Notre Dame. They're thinking about letting students only.
You got it.
Which I appreciate. I'll tell you this. I know everyone's saying season ticket holders need to be. If I was a season ticket holder, I'd be upset if I wasn't allowed and other people were. But as long as I'm not charged for it, like Penn State, and I get my money back, I'm okay with students being allowed if anybody is.
If anybody is in the actual stands, I think it should be the students.
I think they should get first option, then season ticket holders second option.
I'm still totally fine with the people that have the skyboxes and whatnot. Hey, pay your money and get in. Yeah.
There is I'll tell you this. There's no reason for students and like the majority, like at least 50% of season ticket holders. Season ticket holders aren't filling up 80,000 seat stadiums, 100,000 seat stadiums. Okay?
They are at some of the bigger schools.
Well, true. That's true. That's true.
But not at all of them. I mean,
not at all of them. I think there's a way. These places are massive. When you hold 100,000 people like Neyland Stadium does, I mean, you could let 30,000 people in and you wouldn't know anybody was there.
This is true. This is true.
I think there's no reason to not open it up, at least to the students. And then you're right about the skyboxes. Any box has got to be open. Just let them open.
Mark said there's only 8,500 students at Notre Dame, and there's 85,000 seats.
1,000 seats, so, yeah. There's no doubt. All of those students are welcome and encouraged to come.
The Brown Yeti said, so tailgating was good, but not letting them in the stadium. I mean, they didn't say anything about it before. We'll just say that. So Michael said, at this point, just eliminate fans being at the games. I will happily watch from my couch, and I'll be in College Station next year. I'm with you on that.
Like I said, we're going to make a lot of compromises this season to get anything.
You have got
I'm willing to throw all these things out the window.
Mark said they can go 19 seats apart if they just let students in. I will guarantee you
that's overkill.
Will not be sitting 19 seats apart. They will be in a group of people.
Like if you've got fraternities, and Ole Miss is a big thing, and like all the frat guys all sit together for their own individual frat. They all live together. They can't all sit together.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy. That will happen if they let students in. They're all going to be joined in one section, and it's
all into the end zone so they can get louder for the red zone.
You got it. All right, that will wrap up today's show unless anything else is broken. Have you seen anything?
That's it, brother.
That is it. All right, you guys are fantastic. Brown Yeti said there will be a lot of game day parties. You have got that right. We are going to be rocking and rolling. College football lives on for another day. If you want to see our college football coverage, sbrpicks.com/CFB. You can find us over at sportsbookreview.com over on their YouTube page. Mark said, love you guys. Hey, we love you guys as well. Everybody that jumped in the chat, we appreciate you. Go and hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed. Share the show out with your friends. Subscribe to the podcast, of course, and leave a nice 5-star review. That helps out more than you would know. Obviously, the show is free. So All you got to do just to help us out, go leave a nice 5-star review on the podcast over at Apple Podcasts. That helps us out more than you would know. You guys have been fantastic. As always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we will see you tomorrow. That's the wrong one. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and make sure to comment and tweet out.